Alrighty, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. On today's video, we're going to be talking about an absolute beast of a company, Salesforce. This is a company that out of the many different companies I can invest in, I look at so many different companies, especially technology companies. This is one that I have a heavy bet on. It makes up 6% of my portfolio. I'm very bullish on it. I think, like I said, it's a beast of a company. It has pricing power. It has growth. It has a lot of things moving for it. It has a high return on its invested capital, and it has a lot of upside. We're going to be going over all the reasons that I believe that this company is a good investment. Also, this happens to be the company that won the poll of what company would you want to see a deep dive on. So I asked you guys as viewers what you wanted me to talk about out of the options given: C, LTD, Salesforce, Shopify, PayPal, and Teladoc. Salesforce eked out the win over PayPal. So that's what we're going to be doing today's video on. And if you want to participate in these polls in the future, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and they'll show up in your YouTube homepage, right? They'll pop up there and then you can quickly vote. So you guys have chosen Salesforce, and I was excited about this because, like I said, I don't think many people truly understand how powerful of a company this is without having worked with it in the industry. And you might not know this, I don't talk about it too often, but I worked professionally for over 8 years as a software developer, so a programmer, and then a senior developer doing full stack development for lots of different companies. So I've had a range of experience working from small startup companies, SaaS companies, and then more mid-range companies at revenue over $100 million a year. And during that time, I've been able to have experience working with a huge variety of different software business-to-business companies like Salesforce, Microsoft, Adobe, Shopify, so on and so forth. I've had experience working with all these different companies. And what I've seen is ones that are powerful, ones that the company that I work for can kind of leverage and negotiate with, and they have competition, and ones that are not powerful, right? Salesforce falls in the category of a powerful company. Once you're working at a company that signs up for Salesforce, what you'll see is that their products and services will get integrated and entangled into everything that company does. And once that happens, you can kind of view it, if I can create some imagery, Salesforce is like vines that just start wrapping around different parts of the company. And after a while, Salesforce has engulfed the company and entangled it. And the company can't move away from Salesforce. It's like impossible to. To move away, they'd have to do so much cumbersome development work to integrate everything over to a different platform. It'd be extremely expensive. The amount of savings that would have to happen, the amount of benefit that would have to happen to justify moving from Salesforce that you have your entire company integrated into to a competing platform would have to be extraordinary. The competing platform would have to be better than Salesforce in every way, or it would have to be dramatically cheaper to justify the transitional cost between going from Salesforce to that new platform. And it just doesn't exist. There's nothing out there that would justify this cost. The labor, the programming cost, the risk of uprooting your entire business from Salesforce and moving it over to a different platform would be very dramatic and very expensive. And there's just not another platform out there that would justify such a move. So what does this lead to? It leads to Salesforce entangling every business that does business with it, and then it can offer more services. It can grow bigger. It has reliable yearly contracts, monthly contracts. It has such a reliable SaaS model. It's all cloud-driven. They can continually expand their offering, and the companies that they work with give them more and more money every single year. As they renegotiate, as they bring on new products and services, Salesforce continues to grow, and their customers continue to stay. So that's what I see with this company, just on the service level. And that's why, if we look at the story fund, that's why Salesforce makes up a big portion of it. Out of all the great companies I can invest in, Salesforce makes up currently 6% of my portfolio. So it's a big company. I like investing in Salesforce. I feel very comfortable with it. And I think that this company has huge potential upside that's not really being priced in. If we go to some other just surface things on it, I can mention the total revenues for it. Salesforce is a $200 billion market cap business. It's grown its revenue steadily over time. It grows its revenue pretty steadily in the 20s to 30% range year over year. It continues to grow. And right now, as of last year, it revenued $21 billion. So pretty good. A company market cap at $200 billion that's revenuing $21 billion and growing that revenue steadily at above 20% a year, almost 25%. And with the characteristics that Salesforce has, I think that's a pretty well-priced business. So It has a high multiple right now, but I think that it will grow into that multiple pretty quickly. Now, before we jump into Salesforce more, I want to give an update on the Story Fund, which is my aggressive growth-centered portfolio. Salesforce is one of the bigger businesses on it. Let's go ahead and see how this has performed against the S&P 500. So if we look right here, here's the graph. I can show it full screen. The S&P 500 is in red, and the Story Fund, my portfolio, is in blue. And you can see the performance over time. When we had the tech sell-off, my portfolio came down a bit. In fact, it went below the S&P 500, and then it's since returned above it. So as of right now, the Story Fund, my portfolio, is outperforming the S&P 500 by 3 or 4%. Not a ton, but at least we're beating it. And I think that over time, I think we'll be able to outperform the S&P 500. Now, a lot of people have suggested, Joseph, why don't you like benchmark against a technology fund or a cloud computing fund or the QQQ or something else? The reason that I'm benchmarking against SPY is because the S&P 500 is the market, quote unquote. That's what people talk about when they say, are you underperforming or outperforming the market? They're talking about the S&P 500, which is a fantastic index. It's the 500 biggest companies in the United States, market capitalized weighted. That's tough to beat. The QQQ has done it for a while, but there's no guarantee it will continue to in the future. So I've benchmarked against the S&P 500. Now, another thing I'll mention, most content creators will refuse to do this. They will not accurately or transparently show their returns benchmarked against an index like the S&P 500. The reason why is because it's difficult to beat. Many of them cannot beat the S&P 500, and because if they underperform it, they think it will look bad on them. It will invalidate their investment decisions. So the way that most content creators deal with this is they never show it. They will only show individual companies, and they'll only highlight the calls that they did that did well, and they'll kind of not talk about all the ones that did poorly. What I'm doing is I'm accurately benchmarking this to bring transparency and, to show my results. And I will show it even if I underperform. Like I did here and here. If I underperform in the future, I'll continue to show it. But I'm pretty confident that over time, the companies that I've selected, I think I have a high probability of outperforming the S&P 500 and having really good risk-adjusted returns, because the companies that I'm investing in, I look at specific characteristics that I think create a good investment. Their ability to have a moat, their scalability, their advantage in the marketplace, all these different characteristics I think combine to a very good investment. So having said that and giving you guys an update on this, let's go ahead and move on to Salesforce. Now, there's a lot of content we could look at with Salesforce. This is a company that's like a mini version of Microsoft. It has everything from marketing, sales funnels. Obviously, that's a big portion of it. It's kind of where it started, but it's the entire CRM for a company. They have chat applications, integration, customer accounting. They have field service applications. Everything that you can imagine is built into Salesforce. So we can't cover the entire company today. It'd be impossible. The video would go on for 20 hours long. Let's go ahead and just look at one example to illustrate how powerful Salesforce is. Not a lot of companies can do this. This is one of their examples of different use cases for Salesforce. And this is just with the marketing portion, which again is one small portion of Salesforce. This isn't like the entire company. This is just one part of it. Let's go ahead and watch this together.
It's so good to meet you. It's so great to meet you. It's really great to... Hello?
Come in.
It's so great to meet you. My team and I are really excited that you've joined Cumulus.
Thank you.
I brought a presentation for the...
Actually, maybe you can help me. We need to be thinking about how to engage customers in a way that suits them. But how do we actually do that?
Let me walk you through it. Salesforce for Marketing allows us to put the customer at the center of everything. We have a ton of marketing data, but we can see it all in one place.
But can you take action on it?
Yes. For example, we just got an alert. Looks like we're missing an opportunity for pipeline in our Explorer credit card. We use trusted data to find new target audiences like this frequent flyer persona.
Oh.
Notice how this is all done in the web browser? That's how Salesforce works. It's all cloud-based. It's the new stuff. This is the latest and greatest. Salesforce is a cloud-based CRM. Important thing to note.
That reminds me. There was this customer who had a terrible experience with his bank.
Now this guy, This is an example of how powerful Salesforce is just with their marketing portion. This one example is extremely illustrative. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Oh, I just want to cancel.
He posted about it on social and it started trending.
Was it us?
No, some other bank. But how can we keep that from happening to our brand?
For starters, marketing, sales, and service all have a unified view of the customer, and we can engage them in the moment.
Yes, but how?
The key is to use data and AI to reach them with the right content on the right channel at the perfect time. When they land on our site, it's personalized based on where they came from. No matter what channel, device, or department they engage with, we know it's the same person.
That sentence, no matter what device, channel, no matter where they are, because their services, marketing, sales, customer service, every part of their company is so heavily integrated together, they can literally create a profile about a customer and then bring any relevant data instantly to notifications. So anytime you need to know something about a customer, whether they're having a bad time, Salesforce allows all their products that are integrated together to do that. Not a lot of tech companies can do this.
And our sales reps have the context that they need to personalize the conversation.
You're all set?
At the heart of everything is the customer journey. It's how we create seamless experiences at every stage of the customer lifecycle by connecting channels and business units. From the first time they see an ad, to the first time they sign up for a service, to the moment they become a raving fan.
Raving fan. I like that. But what if something goes wrong?
That'll be $325.
Let's say a customer's traveling and their credit card gets stolen.
Then we've got them covered. They get an alert, and they can respond to it and text with a real person right away to get it resolved. The service rep knows what country they're in, what card they have. They know who they are.
Hey, look at this.
What is it?
A customer just posted about us.
Oh, God.
He lost his credit card while he was traveling, but we got him a replacement card the next day in the new country he was traveling to.
It already has more than 1,000 likes.
He has 3 million followers.
They literally have social media monitoring for their customers, and they can engage them and kind of gauge how the customers are receiving their products. So anything publicly said on like Twitter, Salesforce will know about it just with their marketing portion. Pretty incredible stuff.
This was great. Throw some time on my calendar. I'd love to see that presentation you made.
Okay.
That's it. That is how powerful just one portion of Salesforce is. Just one example of just their marketing. It's no wonder, here's a statistic for you. It's no wonder that 83% of Fortune 500 companies use Salesforce, because other companies can't compete with Salesforce. They are a do-it-all, heavily integrated cloud platform that runs businesses. And no other company, in my opinion, does it better. So 83% of Fortune 500 companies use them, but Salesforce does not stop there. They're not a company that has some small total addressable market. They're targeting small businesses, and they're going into that full force. Here's a little example of Salesforce targeting a small business owner.
Meet Carol, small business owner, taste tester, decision maker, Salesforce user. So she has insights for how to grow her business.
Shift production into high gear.
Fast,
Take a look at this.
aligning sales with marketing to grow even more, while solving issues quickly.
Let's fix this.
All thanks to Salesforce, helping her succeed with her customers at every step. Blaze your trail with Salesforce.
Salesforce is not just for large corporations. They're not just for Fortune 500 companies. There's a lot of tech companies that are big into getting the big clients, right? They can grow the big clients because they focus a lot of sales, a lot of marketing on those big Fortune 500 companies. And that way they can boast about it. They can say, look who we signed up. We signed up Nike for our company, right? That's big, but that's not the biggest total addressable market. There's some money in the Fortune 500 companies. So if you get them as customers, you're going to make some money doing that. But the big market is the mid and small businesses where there's 30 million of them. Not 500, but 30 million. Salesforce currently, as of 2015, has over 150,000 customers. So they're not just a company that has a handful of companies signed up that are these big bloated corporations. They're signing up small businesses left and right. over 150,000. And the total addressable market is massive for Salesforce. If they can continue to grow their small business portion, they're going to be a massive company, way bigger than a $200 billion market cap. Now, another thing people don't realize about Salesforce is that this company is an acquisition beast. It picks up other smaller companies left and right, just like Microsoft did when they were starting their empire. Salesforce is doing the same thing. They're picking up all the companies they need the technology for and integrating it into their product, creating a bigger moat, a bigger offering for their customers, and making it even more difficult for any other competitor to compete with. We have all the different acquisitions they did. The big one was the most recent one for $27 billion. They picked up Slack. By far the most recognized, probably the best corporate chat application that exists. Its biggest competitor is Microsoft Teams. So now Salesforce has a Microsoft Teams of their own, which is Slack. That was a big acquisition. Of course, they picked up Tableau, which Tableau is like Domo. It's data analytics, right? It's visualizations. So when Salesforce purchased Tableau, now they have access to all their visualizations, their entire data charting library. Now they can build out these really beautiful visualizations inside of the Salesforce platform. That was another great acquisition for Salesforce. They bought MuleSoft, which is an API application that helps exchange data from different places. That was $6.5 billion. They purchased Demandware, which is a cloud commerce solution. So Salesforce now has the ability to do cloud commerce. They picked up a good company to be able to do that. ExactTarget, which provides on-demand, one-to-one email marketing software applications. So Salesforce does a lot of things similar to Twilio with automatic text alerts, automatic email campaigns. And now they have companies that they purchased that help them do that with their software. Salesforce bought Click Software. Click Software improves the efficiency and effectiveness of field service organizations. So on and so forth. They keep buying company after company, acquiring them and adding them to their application and then integrating them so that nobody else can compete with Salesforce. This is the same recipe that Microsoft did. And so I keep comparing Salesforce to Microsoft because I think they're comparable. So looking at this from a qualitative perspective, Salesforce is absolutely great. They have a total addressable market that continues to grow. They have a massive moat. Not a lot of companies can compete with them. They're growing their revenue year over year at a very quick pace. There's no signs of it slowing down. And just in person, I've actually worked with the company. I've worked with Salesforce and their software, and it really is great software. So I know the product myself. So that's part of the reason why I have it in my portfolio. But the question is right now, is it at a good price? Because no matter how great the investment is, you don't want to buy anything at any price. We don't do that with this portfolio. So the question is Salesforce selling at decent value right now? Is the price so enthusiastic and so out there that we can't buy it because we can't get a good return on it? Or is it selling undervalued? By most estimates, Salesforce is selling undervalued right now. If we look at the price chart here, you can see what's happened over the past 6 months. It's actually traded down. It spiked up once it had record-breaking revenue, so they completely blew away their revenue estimates. That's why it went up so much. But then you can see over the past 6 months, it's traded down a bit. And the reason why is the tech sell-off into the reopening plays. A lot of people sold out of the tech companies into the reopening companies, right? The reopening play. Well, this is kind of a dumb thing to do because Salesforce is a reopening play. They have a lot of customers that are small businesses, and their entire customer suite is to businesses. So if the economy reopens and flourishes, Salesforce will benefit from that. So the sell-off is totally undeserved. Salesforce is one of the companies that will heavily benefit from the economy reopening and doing really well, and all these small businesses doing really well. They're one of the companies that will benefit from that. In terms of their value, even analyst firms like Morningstar that hardly ever say tech companies are undervalued currently say that Salesforce is trading at a discount. They also say, in the first line of this, we believe Salesforce represents one of the best long-term growth stories in software. So I agree with Morningstar here. I think that Salesforce today is undervalued. I think it will give really good returns over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think it does represent one of the best long-term growth stories in the market. So this is a company I'm happy to buy at today's price. I think it will do really well. And I have it in my portfolio, which I think will outperform the rest of the market. So that's my little look at Salesforce. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like the video, subscribe to it. You can also check out the Patreon. There's a link in the description of this video. We have a lot of fun talking about stocks there. So if you haven't done that, try it out. It's a lot of fun. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next update.